Well, hello everyone. Today we are here to talk about Bo Horvat being moved from the Western Conference to the Eastern Conference, and we have plenty of All-Star break and All-Star game lead up gossip to talk about here on Locked On Flames.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Locked On Flames. As always, I'm your host, Jess, and today we are going to be talking all about Bo Horvat being moved to the New York Islanders. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. I had an entirely different order for this show to be laid out. We were going to do something different, but then I see the news that Horvat is on the move. So that is a captain being traded, and we'll dive more into that in just a moment here. But make sure that you are subscribed to Locked On Flames so you never miss some breaking news. And of course, we do some great analysis here. We have some fun guests coming up, and sometimes we just like to play it cool and just kind of have like a little gossip hour. So stick around if that's your thing. I was in the middle of outlining today's show, talking about the PHF All Star Game, and when all of a sudden I got distracted and I opened Twitter, right? Very normal thing that happens for me. And I see a tweet from Gil, who is our Locked On Islanders host, and it says, "The Isles make a move acquiring Bo Horvat from the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for Anthony Beauvillier, Aatu Raty, and a conditional first-round selection in the 2023 NHL Draft." I was at least he's out of the West. That conditional first-round selection, I believe, is protected. So we'll have to see how that goes. But that is a haul for a 27-year-old player who is probably going to be declining in a year or two because, of course, he's 27 years old. He'll probably have a career season this year or next year, and then, of course, comes, he already has a big contract. So there's another bigger one coming. And I do think that this moves the needle for the Islanders, who are currently 3 points out of a wild card spot behind the Capitals, Buffalo, and Pittsburgh. It is wild to see Buffalo in the mix there. I feel like they've been, out of it for so long, we'd never see them there again. But right now, Horvat has 54 points and 31 goals. I just wasn't paying attention because the Canucks are so bad. I didn't realize that he'd already knocked 31 goals so far, and that's so impressive to do. So congrats. Right now, like I said, he's 27 years old, and this is really a very interesting time for not only him to get traded, but as a captain of a team. You're going into a new organization kind of quote unquote late in your career, and you're not going to be carrying over that captaincy. So you have to just kind of look at this and say, hey, like, at least I'm going to a better team. At least I'm going to a team that, has some sort of ambition to them. I truly think that the Canucks are such a dumpster fire that, regardless of the loyalty and how long you have been there, you kind of have to look at it like maybe it's a good thing that I'm not spending kind of like the second half of my career here. But the Islanders have their own problems in terms of getting that offense going. Lou Lamoriello, I don't know. I don't know what that man thinks, if he thinks, how he thinks. But it's interesting because right now you have three centers You have Barzal, Barzal, Horvat, and Nelson down the middle. I wonder if they're going to put someone on the wing. I'm very interested to see what happens here. I wonder if this means that they're going to go acquire a winger and how much that's going to move the needle. But at the same time, like, you have to, you look at this from like the close-up lens of what this means for the immediate season. But then you have to pull back a little bit and look at other acquisitions that this team has made in kind of similar, who is that big guy on the market that they go after. And this kind of reminds me of when they went and acquired Kyle Palmieri. Kyle Palmieri was one of like the biggest names at the trade deadline. And he ended up, obviously going to the Islanders, and then things were good. Like, you could consistently count on him, and then he kind of fell off. And he was injured. He definitely was injured. But I wonder, if there is a significant drop off here with Horvat. I mean, Palmieri has had 6 goals in 25 games. So obviously he's missed some time as well there. But then are you getting concerned with locking up another big name with that kind of money and probably going to decline? Like, you have to think about that realistically there, right? So is this a situation where you just kind of hope that this is your push for the cup with signing him and maybe acquiring another top 6 forward or top 9 forward by the deadline? Because being 3 points out of a wild card spot is not unrealistic. Like, you can still make the playoffs. I thought that the Islanders were a lot worse than they are, based on how some people talk about them on Twitter. But when I saw that in the standings, I was like, oh, this could absolutely move the needle for the team. And this is something that is very, very good for the Islanders. And to move on from players who, weren't really getting a lot of playing time, especially Raty. It's just very, it's probably better for him to go play in an organization where he will play a lot of minutes. But my condolences to everybody who is emotionally affected by this trade. Hopefully we just get to see some more good stuff come out of Vancouver versus some negative, because I feel like all we do is see negative here. But coming up next, we are going to talk about the Premier Hockey Federation's All-Star Game and All-Star Weekend in Toronto, because this was one of the most fantastic events that the league has put on. So we are going to talk about that next. But before we do that, I want to talk about our next partner that has a product that I use literally every day. I started taking AG1 because I wanted to ditch all the multivitamins, the gummies, the horse pills. I just wanted something easy that was all in one, and that was AG1. I have been using it since they sent it to us almost a year ago. I put it in a scoop of water every morning, and it just tastes like fruity, like tropical flavored water. And it's great. It's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, or dairy free, or gluten free. And it is just something that is very easy to digest. And it is a micro habit that you can turn into, much bigger for your life. And it has big benefits, and right now it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day, and that's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership of your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. So, If you're new here, you may not know, but I am the comms director for the Premier Hockey Federation Players Association. That is a mouthful. So basically, we are the neutral party, not me, but the executive director is the neutral party that goes in and kind of helps negotiate with the players, the player reps, and what they want to bring forward in contract negotiations, or if there's like questions that have never been really touched upon, whether that be a trade or immigration policies with like your visas and things like that, because professional athletes have entirely different uh, sets of policies versus us everyday folk. So it's very interesting, and you should definitely check out the PHFPA on Instagram at NWHLPA. We are in the process of rebranding from the league name change. But back to the good stuff, right? The PHF had their All-Star Game in Toronto this weekend. This is the second year it's been in Toronto. Actually, last year, I don't think it was in Toronto. I think it was still in Buffalo because of potential border closings. But this was the biggest All-Star Game yet in terms of how many players were invited, how many players were represented, different countries were represented, and this was so fun to watch. And not because I am personally invested in this league, but because I was a fan first before I got involved. And it was just so amazing to watch, to watch this league go from, pretty much just Americans and a few Canadians are, sprinkled in there, to a global league with a lot more European players this year. And it is something that should be talked about because the league is growing. Women's sports are absolutely growing, and you love to see it. It is such a fantastic sport to watch. Like, you go out there and you watch Brittany Howard just get that puck on her stick, and you know that she's going to score. Same thing with Madison Packer. She does a fantastic playmaking and of course scoring as well. And say the new Canadian team, the Montreal Force, absolutely gorgeous jerseys, and everyone should I love it. It's so fun. And so Canada won the tourney, and they did have to change the model this year. So it was a round robin, because before they would just do it in teams. But this year they had, instead of having captains and like Team Dempsey or Team Packer or Team Fratkin or Team Tinker, you were quote unquote assigned based on your country. And you had Team USA, Team World, and Team Canada. Team Canada did win the tourney, and it was just a lot of fun to watch. The global team had probably the best celly in hockey. And it was turning the stick into a unicorn horn. So whenever someone from their team would score, they'd put the butt of the stick to their helmet, and it was like a unicorn. And I just thought it was a lot of fun. The players had a lot of great walk-in pictures in their fun, creative outfits for Team USA, or whether it was just Kaylee Fratkin walking in with just one of the best fits of all time. She comes correct every time she does the pregame fits. I think that she is someone that definitely deserves some sort of partnership with like Rent the Runway or something, or ThreadUp. I don't know. Someone needs to send her some clothes, because she just is always killing it. And they had an event that was hosted by a Locked On Kraken host, Erica Ayala, and Erica is someone who does a lot of everything, and someone that I admire a lot, because she has built her empire from the ground up. She went to the Olympics by herself. she covered the Olympics under her own name and has gone to Seattle a number of times to have boots on the ground for her show, and is someone that I admire a lot. She works her butt off. She calls games for the PHF, and I would love to see her on an NHL broadcast sometime soon, because she's always kicking butt. But, for her to host an event at the Hockey Hall of Fame with the PHF players who will probably be inducted to the Hockey Hall of Fame someday, especially Jillian Dempsey. I think she will be the first PHF player to make it. It's just incredible, to have her curate the event and go from a fan to that magnitude of a career move is fantastic. So congratulations, Erica, and congratulations to all of the All-Stars this year. It has been an absolute delight watching the players and, of course, watching the teams and sport grow. I'm interested to see what the next expansion team is. I don't have any insider information, but I have a feeling it's going to be Pittsburgh, solely because of they're doing a lot of Pittsburgh events, if you will, and for the commissioner to go out to a PHF regular season event, I think that is telling. And it was a sold out event as well, so that people are going to want to see the product. But coming up next, we are going to wrap up with some NHL All-Star Game. Just kind of what to watch for and what goes on during the break. But before we do that, I do want to take a quick minute to talk about FanDuel, because FanDuel is now the official sports book of Locked On, and that is so exciting. If you bet on the Cincinnati Bengals to win, I am so sorry. And if I led you to place that bet, I am even more sorry. But we are so excited about our new sports betting partner for Locked On, because they're the #1 sports book in America. And if you're new to FanDuel, that's even better. They have so many great features that make betting on sports fun and easy. New customers get to join today, and they get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. And just sign up at FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from moneyline to point spreads to player props. I was going to place a bet on the Bengals money line last night, but I couldn't bring myself to do it, because every time I bet on the team's money line, they end up losing. And they ended up losing anyways. So it's on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Football fans, don't miss out and place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, at FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. I have been loving the fun colors for the All-Star break, and for just I love it. I love when we get to see things that are just different for the NHL, and the All-Star Game is always one of those things. The product is just absolutely fantastic 9 times out of 10. I still remember a few years ago when the Kachuk brothers, it was hosted in St. Louis, and it was a big thing for them to attend the All-Star Game in their hometown, and they got to do some really fun skills competitions. So there are teams that have started their break, and then there are teams that are playing up until Wednesday. But don't you worry. Everyone gets 9 days off. Everyone gets a 9-day break. And right now there's a lot of things happening. I'm not entirely sure if there is a roster freeze during the All-Star break. I would imagine so. But I would hate to be on a vacation and then get a phone call saying, hey, you've been traded. So I would say that there's probably going to be some movement before. I don't think anything major like another, Quinn Hughes to the Devils trade or anything like that. But I said the Devils, and I just realized his brothers play for that, play for them. But anyways, you know what I'm saying. Yesterday, there was actually a beach cleanup that was part of the um, schedule events leading up to the All-Star Game. I think that's really great. It's great to see, people, obviously it is a high traffic destination, highly traveled destination for for the winter in general, but then of course, you have the All-Star break. So it's nice to see people kind of leaving the community better than they found it. And I think one of the most frustrating things is when you go on vacation and, whether it's like a spring break or just a highly traveled area, and you do see a lot of trash on the beach, and then, the locals are oftentimes the one picking up after the people, and it's not fun. It's not fun. So right now, yesterday was the cleanup, and then tomorrow, the 31st, there is a City of Sunrise in Florida Panthers hockey festival happening. I think that's fun. I love going to kind of fan centric events. I know a few years ago I went to this Boston Bruins Fan Fest, and it was fun. Players were there. You could buy t-shirts, you could take pictures with like the locker stalls, you could, play a bunch of like little mini games. If we took pictures on this giant inflatable Bruins chair. Chris Wagner was there, and Ryan Donato was there as well, and it was just really cool to see everyone kind of get together and celebrate the team, especially after their Stanley Cup run. So it's just fun to do, and I'm sure it'll be even nicer to do in Florida. I mean, you can't go wrong there. And then on Wednesday, there is the Coral Springs Hockey Festival and the alumni game. So it's going to be Florida Panthers alumni versus just NHL alumni, which I think is so fun. Armando from Locked On Panthers will be covering that game. He has press access, so if you're interested for kind of like more boots on the ground coverage, I highly recommend giving him a listen this week, and of course through the weekend. Thursday, this is just so fun. This is like a mini spring break. They have the Truly Seltzer NHL All-Star Beach Festival in Fort Lauderdale Beach Park. I think that would be so fun to just be around a bunch of other hockey fans and to talk about the game, to just have fun, let loose. I know as a creator and someone who is constantly around hockey, I would love to use that time as a break and just go down there. Like, I can never escape hockey, but I would love to just be on a beach with other hockey fans talking about the game. And then Friday, you have a lot of things kicking off. Of course, you have the beach festival again, and then you have the All-Star player red carpet, and then you have the box office. You gotta go visit the box office to get your tickets. Arena doors open at 5 p.m., and then the skills competition is at 7. That's going to be a lot of fun. I love the skills competitions. I thought last year's was fun. We got to like try to hit 21 on the cards with the puck. I love that. I love anything that is sort of just out of the box and creative. And I think that, you have to have a lot of creativity to create events like this year after year. And of course, on Saturday, they have the NHL All-Star Game at 3 o'clock. So you can definitely, attend that, as well as the beach festival and a Saturday sweat. I imagine that's like a group workout thing. You could not pay me to work out in a group setting. I went to Zumba as a teenager. It was so embarrassing. I am someone that can like work out by myself, but you want me to follow along. I can't do it. And then, of course, on Sunday, to wrap things up, you get to have breakfast with the mascots. I love that. That's like Disney when you do like the character breakfast. So if you are interested in heading to Florida, number one, please pick me up on your way. I am, if you're road tripping, I'm a great road trip partner because I can just sleep, or if you need directions, I can help with directions. But in all seriousness, I hope that everyone is, kind of enjoying this break. I know it's odd because I don't know what to do with myself. We're like barely into the break, and I'm like, what do I do with my evenings now? Because there's usually I watch the Bruins first, and then the Flames kind of come on midway through the game. So I have like 2 screens going, and now I'm just like, oh, I can read a book. I don't have to, quote unquote, work. But I hope you're all taking good care of yourselves this new year. We've almost made it through January. And when February gets here, we really get to start looking at the trade deadline and who could the Flames acquire. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and please remember to subscribe to Locked On Flames and follow us wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube, and I will see you later. And we're probably having a Flames player on the podcast very soon. And later today, Brian Baston will be joining me to talk all about the Western Conference, and we're bringing the pretty graphs with us this time, folks. I will see you later. Bye-bye.